thank you so much for making some time to be here today. So today we're going to talk about lead generation and how we can increase sales with a slight caveat, which is how can we get other people to actually help us do that. There is a saying, and the saying is by the late, great Jim Rohn, and that is time is more valuable than money, right? You can always get more money, but you can never get your time back. How many of you agree with that time actually is more valuable than money? As much as I agree with that, what if I told you that when you learn to delegate effectively, not only can you actually create more money for your business, you can actually reclaim your time and then you can decide to do with that time what you want. Now, there's a few reasons why people choose to delegate, or in this case, hire virtual assistants. The first is generate more leads. I believe good leads, potential customers, is the lifeblood of your business. However, we also have to learn how to convert those leads into actually sales, into new clients, into customers. Now, some people, they want to delegate because they just want to win their time back. They're drowning in busy work. Other companies, they want to actually learn how to cut their costs. Some are looking how to improve operations. And lastly, they're scaling, they're growing. They need to add some team members to do that. So here's what we're going to cover today. I'm going to go at a fairly rapid pace here. First of all, I'm going to share with you why I believe outsourcing is not just a nice thing to do. It's almost vital. It's so necessary that we learn to master the art of outsourcing. Number two, we can talk about how VAs can actually help you win time back. What can they do for you in a business? We'll talk about priority outsourcing. There's a lot you can outsource, but we need to learn how to prioritize where do we start. The heart of the presentation, though, I want to focus on how we generate leads and actually increase sales using VAs from overseas. Then we'll talk about kind of best options for hiring. And then my favorite one is how do we turn a VA into a productivity assistant? Not doing stuff, helping us get things done. All right, now just so you know, I have a couple of web classes coming up, middle of August and end of August, expansion of this presentation. I'll give you a link to register for that later on. But again, I'm only going to be covering so much today. Okay, so why listen to me? Why am I so passionate about this topic? I'm from the UK. I graduated with a degree in aerospace engineering in 1992. I was one of the few Indians on the planet who actually sucks at engineering, right? I did it because I thought it might be the thing that impressed my dad. And as an Indian, you get a few choices: engineer, doctor, IT, or engineer, right? That's your career choices. But after graduating, I was much better working with people. So that actually moved me into kind of more client management and sales and marketing. And then in 1997, November, we actually were able to migrate from the UK to the US. And eventually 3 years later, I basically stepped into the world of entrepreneurship. We moved to San Diego, which was one of my dreams to come and live there. We started to build our dream home there. And that dream basically shattered in 2003 when I discovered that my then business partner was basically defrauding us, lying to us, and we are basically losing everything. So our American dream turned into the American nightmare, right? Not a good place to be. I used to call them the roller coaster years. How many of you have ever been on a roller coaster, like your life being up and down, right? Guys, we choose to go to theme parks. We choose to get into roller coasters, right? We don't choose struggle in life. So I started referring to these years more like the turbulent years. We're on this ride of entrepreneurship and then the storm comes. We're not really ready for it. These were very challenging, turbulent times. This started to change when in 2009, I picked up this book, The 4-Hour Workweek. Have any of you read this book or heard about this book? Okay. The book's amazing. The first thing you learn about this book, that he doesn't actually work 4 hours a week, right? But what I took away from this is how do we minimize the things we don't want to do to about 4 hours a week, right? So this is not saying, hey, you're going to work 4 hours a week and your business is going to run magically by itself. Now, what I'm saying is that how do we minimize things that we don't want to do to about 2 to 4 hours a week? What I also learned from this book was how to shift from just being busy to creating a productive mindset. Now, what does that mean by productive mindset? It means how do we best produce the results we actually desire in the most time-efficient way possible. So we'll talk a bit more about that. I was so inspired by the book, and the book also talks about hiring VAs from the Philippines, that I started my first company back in 2009, hiring 3 ladies in the Philippines. That lasted all of several weeks because literally my first big event I went to, I teamed up with a much larger outsourcing company, and in October 2009, I started to work with them. And basically, they used to be a call center, and they became more of a kind of a VA company, but I basically worked with them for about a decade. Shortly after I did that, we were living in San Diego in 2010. My immigration lawyer said, hey, I've got some bad news for you. Your visa didn't come through. So you have two options. Option number one, become illegal. Option number two, you have to leave the country. So we didn't want to become illegal. We didn't want to break any laws. So we decided to basically leave the country. Literally on 4th of July, we call it the Freedom from Stuff Day, we started to sell literally everything we owned. In September, we packed 4 red bags, 3 laptops, 2 kids, and I took my one wife, my only wife, and we left the country. What transpired was over the next 5 years, we're able to live the laptop lifestyle. We're able to travel the world, predominantly in Asia. We homeschooled our kids, and it was basically because we had teams of VAs supporting us, right? So I know what's possible when we learn to delegate the right way. Because of the experience, because of my passion for this, I've been able to speak around the world, basically 8 different countries now, on the topics of productivity, outsourcing, delegation. I teach at mastermind groups, I teach at forums like this as well. And between 2009 and 2019, I helped grow that call center agency from 100 to over 500 VAs. But I also discovered what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly. No, not the classic Clint Eastwood movie, about the industry itself, right? I'll explain what I mean by that. There's a lot of times these agencies will hire people in the Philippines and they're paying $1.50, $2. Even very, very well-known companies that you're probably buying products for are using call centers where they really underpay these individuals. So I said to myself, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way to service our clients, the people who need to hire VAs, but also the VAs themselves. So in 2019, I launched my now company called Be Epic Outsourcing, and I explain what makes us a bit different later on in the presentation. Our mascot though is the bee, which is why I'm standing here in my yellow and black. But let me explain why. The bee serves a unique purpose in the hive. The bee serves its community, and the bee serves humanity. I believe we entrepreneurs need to serve our unique purpose, we need to serve our community, and ultimately we need to serve humanity. But more than that, the bee is a symbol of productivity. It's been an ancient symbol of productivity. Bees are persistent, they're resilient, they're organized, they're disciplined, they play a unique role in the hive, they're great communicators, they are great at teamwork, they're innovative, because if there's a problem, the hive knows how to innovate a new solution, they're versatile, and they're effective. And as a company, we're on a mission to help our entrepreneur clients on their epic journey, how to be efficient, the best use of their time, how to be productive, produce the results they desire, how to be intentional about what they choose to do at work, and how to complete the projects they start or close them off, right? How many of you ever seen a bee drowning in water? How many of you see that sometimes there'll be a puddle or a pool? So what do? You normally scoop them up, right? Because if you know that the value of a bee, you don't just dampen them and pop them. We scoop them up and we put them to the side, right? We like to do the same for entrepreneurs. We know that entrepreneurs are drowning, right? So we like to come and be the bee that rescues these entrepreneur clients of ours. Again, if you go to our website, you'll see hundreds of reviews and testimonials from our clients. We've been doing this for a very long time, but these are just some of the clients that we're currently working with right now. Now, the industry knows them as virtual assistants. Everybody heard the term virtual assistant in some shape or form, right? I don't like this word virtual. The word virtual actually means not real. I like to use the word vital, right? Because the work they do really is vital for the survival of our business. So let's talk about the survival of our business. Let's talk about why I believe outsourcing is not just a nice thing to do, but also vital for our business. Right now, I believe, and I've had thousands of conversations over the last decade or so, that entrepreneurs, generally speaking, are feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Anybody sometimes have those weeks or days, months that we're just overwhelmed with the amount of work we have to do? How many of us feel like we're just trapped doing low value work, right? Stuff that you know that somebody could probably do for $5, $6, $7 per hour. Struggling with procrastination. Who's part of my procrastination club here? Yeah, we leave it to the, we're going on vacation on Monday, right? Mastermind actually on Monday, right? When do you think I'm gonna pack, right? My flight's at 5 a.m. in the morning. It'll be probably like Sunday, right? When you're unloading all the photographs that you know you need to unload before you go, right? A lot of us entrepreneurs struggle with procrastination, right? What happens is when we leave it to the last minute, what happens? It goes back to stress and overwhelm in our business. And how many of us resisting doing work? We go to seminars, events, we buy courses, sometimes even hire consultants to tell us what to do. And then what do? We don't do the very thing we know we're meant to do, right? Here's the thing, we know that when we hire VAs, they can be, I'm not saying they're going to solve all those problems, but they can be part of the solution to some of these challenges, right? So first of all, I like to work in acronyms. If you ever end up working with me, you'll come to know that I love to use acronyms because I look at acronyms as micro programs that helps us remember things. So first of all, the O stands for optimized productivity and efficiency. Number two, they can help us unburden the low value work. Number three, they can provide a technical expertise that you may be lacking, right? As I mentioned, maybe one of the only few 1 billion people on the planet that's Indian that is not technically savvy, right? I call myself technically illiterate, actually, which is why I'm standing here talking to you guys versus behind building some software somewhere. And number four, save your sanity. When we can unburden the low value work, this overwhelming stuff, it actually helps us use our brain much better. I also believe it can be a big part of mental health too, right? One of the reasons that people feel depressed is because they're doing work they don't want to be doing in their business. Number five, overcome resistance. If there's things you're resisting doing, delegate it. Number six, upgrade the quality of your organization. Number seven, reduce costs. We talked about that. Number eight, cultivate consistency. Your business can be more consistent. You can provide a much better experience for your clientele, right? Increase sales and profits. Talk about that more in this presentation, why I believe it's so important. Nurture the growth of your business. And number 11, maybe my favorite, it allows you to operate in your zone of genius, right? There's a time where I really was working with kind of the creator types, and they wanted to break free and become their own business. Then they realized that they stopped being creators and started being admin assistants for their own business, right? They stopped doing the very thing they enjoy doing. I also believe when we don't outsource, it's actually costing us time, effort, and money. We'll talk about more how I feel we're flushing money down the toilet by not delegating. Okay, so hopefully I've laid the foundation of why I believe outsourcing is important. But let's talk about what VAs can do for you, right? Whether you are a business with defined departments or whether you are a solopreneur, you have different departments in whatever you are doing. Even if you're just a professional in a single industry, right? We may not think about this because we might be more solopreneurs. How many solopreneurs, like you're pretty much by yourself right now, okay? How many of you actually have team members or some form of business, right? Okay, so we've got about a 30-70 split, 70% being solopreneurs, right? Even as solopreneurs, we need to have an org chart. Why? Because this is if we want to grow our business, we need to be speaking the language of the business we want to create, not where we are sitting right now. Okay, the first thing to do is you create an org chart. You know what? Who's going to be in those different seats in the org chart? You. The moment we create an org chart, every single position in that business is more or less going to be filled by you. Our objective, the game, is how quickly can we remove ourselves from those roles. It's not overnight. I mean, it's long enough, and I'm still replacing slowly different roles that I play. But we've got to start thinking like that. Now, the reason I've got the marketing and sales in green and the rest in red is the green is your income producing side of the business. The red is costing you time, effort, and money, right? So this is a starting point. This is going to we start thinking like a business first of all. So let me just share my team first of all to give you an idea. So I have a part-time VA, literally about 1 or 2 hours per day for lead gen. I have another part-time person that does my social media. I have a full-time executive assistant, but she also doubles as my salesperson. I have another person that spends a couple of hours a day on HR, which is recruiting and training virtual assistants. I have someone who's in what I call customer success. They're the ones who meet with potential clients like you, make sure that we can provide the right level of VA for your things. We help create job descriptions. And then I have somebody part-time in finance and payroll. That's the people I've hired in my team. But here's what they do for me. I basically ran out of numbers on the slide. Everything in green is what this team is doing for me in terms of help bring money into the business, okay? Everything in white is what they're doing operationally, just to give you some ideas. And everything in yellow, this is the unique part, is how they manage me. So I'm using my VAs to manage my time, not just doing the work, but actually staying on top of what I do for the business. So I'm going to start with one role specifically. Again, I could spend literally the whole day going over the hundreds of tasks that they can do, but let's look at the role of a general admin or an executive assistant. Maybe one of the first roles people actually hire. So here's some things that they can be doing for you on a day-to-day basis. Email management, your DM management, customer success, customer service, Let me define the difference. People say, what's the difference between success and service? Customer success is everything we can do proactively to enhance our client or customer's experience. Customer support or customer service is what I call everything that is reactive, right? Now, the reason I've separated these two is that when we create an enhanced experience for our customers and we're proactive, they're going to be much happier. Generally speaking, customer support is when they can't find something, they can't do something, and they need help. Oftentimes, they're pissed, right? So when we can improve success, we can reduce the need for service. Setting appointments, invoicing, collecting, your CRM management, etc. Setting up Zoom invitations. So again, all that admin level stuff that you might be bogged down with is going to be great for a general or a good executive assistant. Some of them can double up as your social media, someone will double up as sales, but generally speaking, a general admin or an executive assistant could be one of your first hires, right? Because they're going to take some of that busy bullshit, the things we don't want to do off your plate. And I just realized we have some little kids in the back, so we're going to make sure we use some PC language here. All right. Again, bookkeeping. The reason I'm bringing this up, I was terrible as a business owner for decades with my numbers, right? Because there's sometimes you don't want to look at that stuff. It's not my zone of genius. So we ignore that stuff. It just piles up on the side. We're so busy with the day-to-day running of it. I now am going to be an evangelist for good number management from the very day you begin your entrepreneur journey. Because entrepreneurship is about the relationship between you and ultimately money in your business. Don't leave it until you think you're going to be making enough money to start this journey. Bookkeeping is not just about keeping your invoices straight. It's about improving your relationship. It's about understanding your numbers. When we understand our numbers, we can make decisions that impact the very month you're working in. A lot of people wait to the end of the month to look at their numbers. Oh, we had a good month, bad month. But what if you had the numbers tracked week to week? You could make strategic decisions in the middle of a month to focus your time, effort, money on particular activities that could change the results of the month. Can't do that if our numbers are all messed up, right? All right, now let's talk a little bit about AI. This is, again, another whole entire day presentation. Here's just some of the things that VAs can be doing for you using AI. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of tools out there on AI. It's not possible for us to become AI experts because literally the moment you think you're an expert, some new AI tool comes out, some change come out. You have to learn to delegate and use VAs, even team members, right? I use the word VAs, outsourcing, but really it's about delegation ultimately. Finding answers, right? How do we do things there? Processes and checklists, hashtags and keywords if you're doing articles, social media, text, images, video, articles and blogs. Some of them can be SEO, some of them can be for LinkedIn, answering forum questions, writing email sequences, creating how-to guides for your business, right? If you've got sales funnels, for example, presentations, and then videos, and even videos with your voice and likeness. How many of you have a resistance doing videos? People tell you you should be doing it on social media, blah, 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 but you don't like to be doing videos, right? No, nobody else? No, there's a few little meager hands. Yeah, right? Why? Because it's time consuming, right? What if I told you that whether you want to be the one in the videos, whether you just want to have content out there that represents your brand, your voice, all of it is now possible leveraging AI. Okay? Again, there's literally hundreds of different tasks that VA can do. What I've done is I have a guide that you can download from our website. So if you go to Be Epic Outsourcing or just scan the QR code, I've got a guide that has some guidance on what to delegate first, but also a list of up to 200 different tasks that will give you an idea of what you might be able to delegate to VA.